Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejected a U.S.-backed Gaza peace plan yesterday. Now, that plan calls for the Israeli military to gradually withdraw from parts of Gaza as Hamas disarms. But Netanyahu vowed that Israel would not withdraw its military from Gaza until Hamas, quote, is truly disarmed, end quote. Announced last month, this was meant to be phase 2 of President Trump's 20-point plan for peace in Gaza. CBS News Middle East contributor Courtney Kealy joins us now with more on all of this. So you follow all of this very closely, Courtney, with all of your sources there in the region. Good morning. Welcome. Help us understand what Israel is rejecting and what the peace proposal set out. Israel says Hamas must be fully disarmed before their forces will withdraw. Was it meant to happen in unison?
Well, they said heavy weapons, light heavy weapons, all weapons, they must be disarmed. Now, this is a comment by Prime Minister Netanyahu, who spoke to his cabinet yesterday, his annual Sunday meeting of the cabinet. He hadn't responded to President Trump's 15-point plan that President Trump had said in late July. So it's over a week for a reply, a complete flat-out rejection. Really speaking to his base is what Israeli sources are saying. He's speaking to Bezalel Smotrich, who's finance minister, far right, head of the Religious Zionist Party. They don't want to be seen as capitulating in any way towards Gaza, especially as they're moving to the elections. But something has to happen. It's a static situation. You and I were there when the peace. We're talking when the peace deal happened last October, and they came out with this plan. Now Israel is still in about 2/3 of Gaza. 9 out of 10 Palestinians in Gaza are displaced. The number of miscarriages has tripled for women in the last 6 months. So it's still dire humanitarian.
And one thing you've always noted, which is similar to here in the U.S., is that Prime Minister Netanyahu's political reality plays out on the international stage. So knowing what you've just laid out, his political reality, what then becomes of President Trump's peace proposal and plan, which, you know, had been critiqued from the outset?
Well, we're seeing Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump. There's a bit of a whiplash between whether they're close or not close, where they see eye to eye or they don't. Now, Prime Minister Netanyahu categorized it as familial. You fight, you make up, you're friends. But this is another repudiation of what President Trump wants, and we're waiting to see what President Trump really will say about this, because something has to give for President Trump in terms of deal. But Prime Minister Netanyahu is facing elections, so he has to speak to a domestic audience where his approval ratings are down.
We'll keep watching this closely because, as you say, something's got to give here. Courtney Kealy, great to see you. Thanks so much.